Well, thank you guys so much. It's such an honor to be up here. First of all, I wanted to thank Mark Stovak. I don't know if you guys know the process, but when we start on the Executive Council, we're second vice president. And that year is really just kind of learning the lay of the land, watching how everything works. And our second year is when we get to help plan the program. But really, you're all of a sudden much more eyes open and watching the person ahead of you and how they lead the organization. And it's nice to have things that are positive that you see that you want to emulate and things that are negative. And that would be my one thing is you didn't give me anything negative to emulate or to avoid. So Mark is, as you guys know, an amazing person. He is, has a very good temperament for this position. He works very well with everybody. He's an excellent communicator and a very good listener, which is most important. And I hope to only try to make, to fill your shoes in a small way. So thank you, Mark. Next, I want to thank Melissa Novak. Is she down front or is she in the back? She's probably in the back. There she is. So Melissa Novak, when I was had the opportunity to select a program chair, I asked for ideas from people, and her name kept floating to the top, which was wonderful because I had gotten to work with her in a small way prior to this. And when I called her and asked her, there she is. She snuck into the back door. You know, I got to ask her to do this job, and I had done it before, so we were able to talk through what the role entailed. And she was ready for it. She was all in, and she did an incredible job. If you guys don't know, she had a baby in July, when we were kind of in the heat of planning and just managed it with such amazing tact and skill, and really was very thoughtful and responsive and organized, everything you want in a program chair, and I'm so grateful for her accepting that. So thank you to Melissa. And also wanted to make sure that I thanked everybody on the program planning committee, especially Melody and Andy and Yuka for their leadership as well and keeping everything going. So thank you for those guys. I will talk about the AMSSM staff, but if you think of Melissa as the captain of the ship, Jody Gold is really the mayor of the ocean, and she keeps everything going and is just such an incredible human being. I know for a lot of these front row people that have gotten to work with her, just how incredible she is and all the knowledge that she has in making sure that everything goes off so well for the meeting. So special thank you to Jody. So Mark touched on sort of the process for the strategic plan that we did this year, which I may be one of the few people in the world who really love this experience. But one of the things I wanted to talk about that I think was really important in how we developed this, and the group that let us talk to us a lot about trying to develop this culture of foresight, really thinking ahead, big picture. And one of the things that we did to come up with these 4 goals was to vote on drivers of change. So we had like 25 drivers of change, and everybody voted. And these were the 3 things that came to the top: healthcare disruption, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and next-gen professionals. So you'll see that embedded through the strategic plan, the concepts of those, and we met and discussed those and how they would apply to these 4 goals. And these 3 things really stuck with me as well. They happen to be my top 3 as well, which I thought was perfect. To really be thinking about how these can create action items and how these should frame us moving forward to utilize this plan. And I think that's really critical for us to reconsider. And then, as you guys know, out of this, we developed this operational plan. And the operational plan, I'll admit, it took me like 5 days to read through it because I'm a slow reader, and it's 8 pages long, and everything was really, really important and valuable. So if you guys are the type that want to read that, it's a great thing to read. But if not, I would really encourage you guys to look at the strategic plan, which is in your annual report, and read through it in completion once. And We would love to have ideas that may come out of that for all of our members. So please take a minute to look through that, because this is really for the entire organization to try to come up with things to move forward. And there were a lot of areas that seemed to pop up during the operational plan that were consistent themes. So research, education, leadership, mentorship, community engagement, branding, and member engagement and support. And that last one is really near and dear to my heart. I was the chair of the membership committee when I was on the board of directors. And this is something that's incredibly important to me, and I want to think about creative ways to improve this for our group. As I mentioned, there were a lot of common themes. Some of them were considering our stakeholders, both internal and external to our organization, and how we can rethink our interactions with those people, not only to promote our organization and our field, but get from them what are the processes and things that they're going through, and how can that help us as an organization moving forward. We're a large organization, and I'll get to that on the next slide, but how do we support each other? How do we support our organization? For those who've had the opportunity to be more involved in the organization, they know this, but for some of the members that are newer to our organization, I think we're very special. I don't think there's a lot of organizations out there that have 50% attendance at their annual meeting. Anybody in this front group can tell you that you get a lot more out of this organization than you put into it. It's such an incredible, enriching learning experience, and I hope that we can continue to maximize that and focus on our younger members to try to work on engaging them in our ideas. We need to be deliberate, and I think we need to be creative, and these were also themes that I felt came through on the operational plan as well. So you've seen this slide before. We've exceeded 5,000 for our membership. My first year of membership, I think we had about 1,000, close to 1,000 members. It's before the slide cuts off here for the dates, but it was around that. And it's just so amazing to me how much we have expanded in the time that I've been a part of this organization. But I think it's also an opportunity for us to take that information and decide what we do with it. So it's both an opportunity for growth, and I think it also creates challenges. We are a large group. We have a lot of different specialties. We come from different backgrounds of primary training. We have different types of practices, and I think we need to try to continue to think creatively on how we maximize the opportunities from that and minimize the silo effect. How do we understand and appreciate our unique skills and expertise? How do we as an organization best serve our members to maximize our value to our members and to work on alignment and collaboration as opposed to fragmentation? And I think that's going to be a really important thing in this next year in particular. I also have strong feelings about engaging and learning from our members who are newer to the organization. I think they have so much value to bring. They are our biggest growing group, and they are the future of our organization. And involving them more in our decisions and communication, I think is very important. It's hard as a big group to get people engaged and get information back, so this is my pitch to everybody. The survey is a drag. I know it's a drag, but it is so important to us. We send it out just once a year. There are other surveys that will come out throughout the year for important subjects from the organization, as well as research surveys. And I know we all have survey fatigue, but it really does provide us with a lot of value to have that information. So that's my plug for responding to surveys. The evaluations from the annual meeting is another example where even if you can't put a ton of stuff, at least pick maybe one thing that you thought was really great and one thing that you struggled with during our meeting, and provide that feedback would be very, very valuable to us. And then the other thing is that we are always trying to expand who we get involved. This is a big part of what we do on the leadership side of things, is getting asked to put people forward for working groups and other organizations, for speaking opportunities, and then within our group, writing groups and things of that nature. And a lot of it is just relying on the people in the room, and we know who we know, and we don't know who we don't know. So one of the things that we tried to do to improve this is create an areas of expertise data collection under your membership. So if you guys aren't aware of this, when you sign on and you go into My Account, one of those tabs across the top is areas of expertise. And I would hope that everybody here would fill that out so that we know, who has a special interest in this topic, who might be somebody we're not thinking of, and we will utilize that list. So I would ask that you guys fill that out for us. And as I mentioned, I want to make sure that we continue to revisit. I know I will be rereading that operational plan and strategic plan over and over just to make sure that we are on our targets and that we're not missing anything that we want to accomplish. My personal goals are to serve our diverse membership, to maximize our value and minimize silo, as I mentioned, improve our organization of resources and content. We have so much fantastic content, and I think sometimes people don't know it's there, don't know where to find it. So that's something that I think we want to improve upon as well. I want to work to continue to expand our international presence and relationships, and I think this meeting has been fantastic with some of our international speakers. I got to sit in our traveling fellow reception, and it was just so inspirational to hear everybody's stories and all the relationships that they developed. And I want to be a good listener. I want to make sure that we communicate well to and from each other as an organization. I think that's critically important. And I definitely have an open door policy. I'm happy to communicate and hear from any member, whether good or bad, about issues that are going on. So the staff of this organization, as you guys know, is just absolutely phenomenal. We are so, so fortunate to have this group who really leads this ship, and particularly Jim Griffith, who's our fearless leader. I feel like in the last 3 days alone, I have watched him and how he handles things and learned so much in such a short period of time. And I know I'll continue to gain a lot of information and knowledge from him in the coming year. So Jim and Jody, Stephanie, Joan, Sarah, Sandy, Andy, Michelle, and Ellen. So if you guys see these guys today, please make sure you say thank you. I also wanted to mention Brian Williams, who's our Director of Policy and Advocacy, and has been working that back table hard all week, and we're so grateful for his expertise and involvement. I do not expect you guys to be able to see all of these pictures, but I use this just as a visual to show you all the amount of people that I've had the opportunity to work with on the board of directors in the last 2 years and in my time on the board. And this is where it really comes down to the relationships, and all the people that you get to meet and interact with and learn from has just been incredible for me, such a growing experience I'm so grateful for. This is just a sample of some of the people that have been more influential in my training and my experience within AMSSM. In AMSSM, in mentorship, I should say, and we heard some great talks this last few days on this. Sometimes it's just simply saying, "Come with me," and when I came to my first meeting, this will be the beginning of many. I didn't really know a lot of people, and this is all it was. It was, "Come with us," and the rest is history. And I'm so grateful for all the people that have befriended me and encouraged me. And if you guys did not get to see Dr. Hoskins' talk, I would encourage you to go back to watch it, because she talks about one of her greatest skills being believing in when others believe in you. And these people certainly have believed in me, so I'm not sure I might even be able to say their names. But the people that I trained under and trained with, and then in this organization, who have boosted me and sponsored me and mentored me, I'm so grateful for. There are so many of us now at HSS that I couldn't fit everybody onto one slide with pictures, so I have a picture from our recent holiday party. We are a large group now at HSS, And the people at our organization are always shocked how well we get along. And we really do. We really collaborate well, and I am so grateful for this group of people. In addition to my primary care sports colleagues, I also have some fantastic colleagues from other disciplines that I work with in part of the Women's Sports Medicine Center: orthopedic surgeons, physiatrists, nutrition, psychology, exercise physiologists, physical therapists. I'm so grateful for all of those people as well. The analogy that had come to my mind was, we talk about standing on the shoulders of people, and I'm very fortunate to have some he for she's in my life, and just wanted to say a special thank you to John DeFiore, Brian Halpern, and Matt Gammons, who had asked me to be his program chair, for letting me stand on their shoulders. Thank you. The other cheerleading analogy is the basket toss. So there's some people you stand on their shoulders and others who throw you up into the air. This one's gonna be hard. Mark, I'm drinking your water, sorry. Hope I don't get COVID this year like I did last year. Aurelia and Lisa have just dragged me along, thrown me around, thrown me up in the air into things, and I will be eternally grateful forever and ever. All right, well, now that we're on that roll, these are my crew. This is what it's all about. So thank you to my incredibly supportive husband, who every time I ask him about something, he says, absolutely, yes. If you think it's what you should do it. And to my daughter, Penny, who gave me the sweetest card before I came here and signed it as your proud and loving daughter, and that meant so much to me. And my son, Nolan. These two really, I don't know if this is not the term you typically think, but they are mentors of mine. They show me how to love and how to be themselves, and they're so resilient, and I'm so grateful for them. My extended family's on the bottom and the middle. We're very, very close. My mom and dad, Dave and Nancy, my brother Eric, my sister Stacy, and our extended families. They are truly my best friends in life, and I'm so grateful to have their support always. So thank you so much for the opportunity to serve this organization that means so much to me. Thank you. Thank you.